What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Butt Does It Spin, and today we are looking at a sort of board game. This is what we're looking at. It is called, in Portuguese, it's called Super Top Emotional Game from BK Braskit. It's for 2, 3, or 4 players, 4 plus. And this is what is supposed to be the upgraded version of Battletops, which we did take a look at the 1970 Battletop, the Brazilian version, of course, in this channel. I will link the video at the end. This one, however, is not licensed like the one we showed from 1970. That one was licensed by Ideal Toys, which made the original Battletops. They do have an upgraded version in the States as well that does use a similar system with ripcords, but it's not exactly this. It's not completely the same way. So Braskit's Super Top is just made to be similar to it, I guess, just to copy. So this is, though it uses the upgraded system, it is not the same toy. It is not the same people who made it, okay? But also, it does come with an interesting arena with the score counter here. So you switch it around. So that's kind of interesting, which the others don't have. And then, of course, like I said, it does use a ripcord instead of those strings, which we saw with the first version. Yeah, so it definitely does look more like a child's game with all these weird drawings, illustration, and whatsoever. And the tops look exactly the same, will behave exactly the same, aside from the stickers. But let's open it and check it out. Okay, so we have everything out of the box. The arena is kind of small, I guess, a little smaller than I had hoped it would be. The ripcords right off the bat, they are gray, whereas in the box they each had a color of their own. So that's slightly different, but it is what it is. The ripcords, they are very small. They're not the same size for Beyblades or anything, so you won't be able to use this in anything else aside from these specific toys. The tops, like I mentioned, they are exactly the same in form factor. It's just the sticker on them that changes for you to be able to tell who they are, even though the colors are different. That said, they are a little weighty. They're kind of heavy for what they look like, for what they are. They're definitely not as weighty, as heavy as Beyblades, but they do have a bit of weight to them, which is nice. The 1970 Battletops, they didn't have that much weight, so they would hit each other and just fly out. So this definitely feels okay, or at the very least comparable to that. I think it's okay. But yeah, the counters, they are a little stiff, but they do work. There are 4 counters. And the way this works is you put the ripcord with the teeth towards the inside, like that, and then you put the top on top to fit. And then you let it rip. And as you can see, it does work quite well. Like I said, the tops are somewhat weighted. You can see the thick plastic walls on here to give it that weight. So they do spin relatively okay for their small size. And yeah, the arena does work well. For these at least, we'll have to make them battle. I will probably need to play like I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see if I can do this alone. On the 1971, because they were strings, I couldn't launch them at the same time. I had to launch one and then launch the other. Here we will try to see if I can launch two at the same time. All right. Let it. So that didn't work. I will have to launch one at a time, which is bad because they look exactly the same. So probably the one I launch second will win every time. Let it rip. Let it rip. They do clink. They did clink. That said, I said they were a little heavy, but they still flew around. That said, the battle isn't too bad. That was pretty fun to watch. Maybe we can do all four and see chaos ensue. But I think that's pretty fun. I think that's the idea. I think that's the idea behind these kind of games of battling tops, is just the sheer chaos is always welcome, always fun. Are you guys ready? Let it rip, let it rip, let it rip, let it rip. But that was pretty fun. I do like that quite a bit. I don't think this is bad. I think to have something like this to play with younger people without having to get your Beyblades out is definitely a good option. Or for people starting out in the hobby, this thing is pretty cheap here in Brazil. It was 60 reais, which is about $12. And I do realize that Beyblade is super cheap in the States. So maybe in the States it doesn't make sense to get something like this instead of a real battle set. But here in Brazil, a battle set is about like $50 plus. So $12 for this to have an arena, even though small, and something you can play with, and then later if you get Beyblades you can try to use the arena. You know, I don't think is a bad idea. In fact, maybe we should get some Beyblades out. Let me just do one last battle. It does get loud on this plastic, I guess, but let's try to get a Beyblade. Let's try to get some Beyblades here and see how they do. Here we have Kerbeus K2, my double layer, one of my very first double layers. Let's try to spin them here. Let it rip. Horizon H2. Ooh, there was a burst. That was a burst. So yeah, it's not so bad. It actually works with Beyblades, even though these are double layers, so they will be smaller than the current Beyblades. And these are the ones that I just had out, so that's why I used them. But you know, you saw it did work. That said, this plastic material, of course, is not the same as the Beyblade official arenas. So it does make a lot of noise, and maybe it will wear out the tips more. I'm not sure. They are very smooth though, so I would like to think not. But you know, that's something to consider. And as small as it is very rounded here. I don't know if you guys can tell. It is very concave. So as you saw, these battles, they do work decently okay with Beyblades. Although I'm assuming with the newer, bigger Beyblades, it will be a little too small. But you know, for an entry, why not? I don't think it's too bad. I think is pretty fantastic. I do miss double layer battles though. And there you go. But yeah, so this toy, as a toy itself, maybe for the younger audience or for someone starting out in spinning tops, I think it would be fantastic. Or for people wanting an arena but not wanting to dish out too much money for Hasbro for the official stuff, then I guess this could be an entryway, perhaps. Although, again, not if you're in the States, because in the States, arenas are pretty cheap, I guess. But here in Brazil, definitely is an alternative. And yeah, that's all I had to show you. Take the conclusions you'd like. Leave us a question in the comments if you have any. But yeah, leave us a like if you've been enjoying this video. We're bringing more Beyblades of all types and generations to this channel. And of course, we are focusing on Beyblades, but sometimes we bring other kinds of tops, as you can see. Or sometimes even stuff that are not even tops, but we try to spin them anyway just to see if it works. So if you're into that, I'll see you next time. And until then, stay nerdy, guys.